Hello everyone, random recap here, and today we're going to talk about an action fantasy film called Attack on Titan. Part 1 and also Part 2. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. 100 years ago, giant humanoids known as Titans appeared and began destroying humanity by devouring anyone they came close to. To survive, humans built layers of massive walls to keep the Titans out, and they managed to regain peace, at least temporarily. But there's no guarantee that the walls will protect them forever. One day, inside the outermost boundaries of the walls, Eren meets up with his friends Armin and Mikasa. He teases them while standing on top of an old missile, only to end up making a fool of himself. Eren expresses his frustration about being trapped inside the walls his entire life, and dreams of discovering what lies beyond. He kicks the missile in anger, revealing a painting of an ocean, which amazes the group. Mikasa imagines how beautiful it must look in real life. Eren tells her that they can see it with their own eyes, if they choose to. The trio sneaks toward the bottom of the exterior wall, and is shocked at how massive it looks up close. Eren plans to climb it, but his friends try to stop him, afraid of the consequences. Armin warns him that Titans roam outside, but Eren insists they don't exist anymore. After all, no one's seen them in 100 years. Their argument is interrupted by the Border Patrol, who tries to remove them from the restricted area. Seeing his friends being arrested, Eren attacks the guards without a second thought, even risking execution. Just when he's about to be shot, Suda, a friend of Eren's father and the captain of the soldiers, breaks up the fight and promises to discipline the lawbreakers himself. After the soldiers leave, Suda mocks Eren's actions, but sympathizes with his desire for freedom. He reveals that the military has recently decided to explore beyond the walls. Suddenly, there's a massive explosion. The ground shakes like an earthquake as something begins to break through the wall. A colossal Titan, taller than the wall itself, appears, shrouded in smoke. The soldiers stare in horror as the Titan lets out a terrifying scream and kicks the wall repeatedly. Eventually, the Titan breaks open the wall and vanishes into the smoke, having completed its mission. Moments later, smaller Titans with terrifying faces begin pouring into the city. The military fires cannonballs to stop them, but the Titans regenerate quickly and continue charging forward. Chaos erupts. The Titans grab and devour everyone in sight. Eren and his friends run home. Armin goes to check on his parents while panic spreads through the city. The Titans follow the people to the central district, destroying buildings and devouring humans like it's a buffet. Eren takes Mikasa to a church where people are rushing for shelter. He gets separated from her when she tries to save a baby. The crowd pushes Eren inside, locking the door behind him and refusing to let anyone else in. Eren watches helplessly as a Titan approaches Mikasa. She accepts her fate and lowers her head. Suddenly, a massive explosion knocks everyone backward. Eren notices that Mikasa and the Titan are both gone. He rushes outside, but the door is locked behind him. The city lies in ruins. He turns around and sees several Titans surrounding the church. They rip open the building like a cardboard box and begin eating everyone inside. Eren limps away in despair. 2 years later, the military plans to retake the outer districts that were lost in the attack. People had retreated to the inner walls for safety, abandoning the outer farmland. This caused a food shortage, increased mortality, and rising crime. To save the population, the military must repair the walls and reclaim the land. Commander Kubble introduces their weapons expert, Captain Hang, who presents a grappling device designed to help soldiers kill Titans, though it looks more likely to injure the users. Eren has since joined the military, along with Armin, who also survived. They meet Captain Suda, who now seems hopeless and drowns himself in alcohol. Armin explains their mission: to blow up the upper portion of the wall so it collapses and blocks the breach. The wall is lower in that section, but still taller than regular Titans. Once blocked, they can exterminate the monsters and reclaim the city. The soldiers prepare to depart at sunset, as Titans sleep at night. They're highly sensitive to sound, so the scouts must move silently. As the massive gate opens, the soldiers roll out in armored vehicles. As they approach the breach, their captain notices movement and halts the convoy. The team exits the vehicles and scouts the area, only to find nothing but cattle. Suddenly, one of the soldiers, Hyanna, hears a baby crying from inside a building. Despite how unlikely it seems, she rushes in to help. Eren follows, determined not to fail again like he did with Mikasa. Inside, they hear the baby's cries, but sticky liquid begins to drip onto Hyanna's face. They look up and see a baby Titan devouring someone. The monster drops down and begins to wail. As the two flee, the noise alerts the group outside. The captain tries to keep them calm, but before he can finish, he's killed by a Titan hiding behind the wall. Eren rushes out with Titans chasing close behind. Commander Kubble, seeing the danger, abandons the scouts and flees in the vehicle. With no other choice, the remaining soldiers run toward the nearest building for shelter, but they're soon surrounded by Titans. Just when things look hopeless, Captain Shikishima from the recon team appears and slices down a Titan by striking its weak spot, behind the neck. Another woman joins and easily kills another Titan. As she lands, we see it's Mikasa. She glances at Eren but says nothing. Shikishima joins her, and the two leap off together, leaving Eren stunned. It turns out Shikishima had been guarding the explosives on the commander's orders, but wasn't told the exact location to prevent sabotage. Commander Kubble shows him an underground passage where humanity's last hope is stored. Back at base, tensions rise. A soldier named Jean blames Eren for attracting the Titans and nearly getting everyone killed. They fight, but Mikasa steps in and stops them. Shikishima asks for Eren's name, and surprisingly, he already knows where Eren is from. He pulls Eren aside for a private conversation. The captain wants to understand why Eren hates Titans so much. Eren says they've taken humanity's freedom, but Shikishima disagrees. He blames humanity itself for locking themselves behind walls and becoming cattle, incapable of fighting back. He even suggests that Eren himself is a captive, which angers him. Shikishima smiles and tells Eren to let go of his fear and fight, to reclaim his freedom. Later, Eren finds Mikasa in front of a broken piano. He says he's glad she's alive, but she doesn't share the sentiment. Mikasa reveals the baby she tried to save was eaten, and shows Eren a massive bite mark on her stomach. She coldly tells him, "The world is cruel." Their conversation is interrupted by the captain, and they proceed to show their mutual affection in front of the main character. Realizing that Mikasa is no longer the same girl he once loved, Eren goes outside and screams in anger. Hyanna appears and stops him, trying to convince him to forget about Mikasa. She brings him to their shelter and attempts to comfort him, while another couple in the background is aggressively cuddling, setting a rather awkward mood. Hyanna reveals that she's a single mother who joined the army to provide for her daughter. She wants Eren to be a part of their family and tries to convince him with her feminine charms. Their moment is cut short when a giant eyeball peers at them through the walls. The Titan breaks open the building and drags Hyanna into its mouth, as Eren hopelessly watches in fear. Numerous Titans begin approaching the buildings, and the military initiates an immediate evacuation. The soldiers launch toward the Titans, trying to slow their attack. The captain easily destroys several of them, expertly dodging their moves and striking their weak points. Mikasa also fights fiercely, saving her teammates in the process. Despite their efforts, Many soldiers are killed due to inexperience. The commander orders everyone to protect the explosives at all costs. The woman whose boyfriend died earlier cries uncontrollably. Captain Zolda drags her away from the body as she screams that she'll avenge him. Meanwhile, Captain Hang notices someone trying to steal the truck carrying the explosives. As the vehicle speeds away from the battlefield, the grieving woman manages to jump onto the truck and lights the explosives. She fights the thief inside and eventually knocks him out. With no hesitation, she drives the truck straight toward the Titan responsible for her boyfriend's death and slams it into the monster. A huge explosion knocks the giant to the ground. However, the attack is ultimately futile. The Titan regenerates quickly and resumes devouring people. Eren sees Jean hiding on a rooftop and yells at him to fight like the others. But Jean admits that he's weak and scared. Remembering what the captain told him earlier, Eren rushes toward the Titans with burning rage. Despite his lack of experience, he tries to use the grappling gear to attack. Shikishima sees Eren's bravery and begins guiding him. Eren charges at a Titan and manages to kill it. But before he can celebrate, he flies straight into the mouth of another. The Titan bites off one of his legs and throws him onto a rooftop. The scouts notice that Jean is still trapped on a building. Armin devises a plan to save him by making noise to attract the Titans away. Jean uses this opportunity, charges at a Titan, and kills it with a precise strike. As the group tries to escape, Armin is captured by a Titan. Everyone attacks the monster in desperation, but their efforts are ineffective. Seeing his friend in danger, Eren pushes forward despite his injuries. The Titan opens its mouth, about to devour Armin. In a desperate move, Eren grabs him and throws him to safety, while falling into the Titan's mouth himself. Inside the Titan's stomach, Eren sees numerous dead bodies, including Hyena. Holding her lifeless body, he screams in agony and swears to kill every last Titan. Meanwhile, the remaining survivors are surrounded, and the captain and commander are nowhere in sight. Mikasa regroups with the team, only to find out that Eren has died. She stares at his remains in shock and suppresses her emotions. Determined, Mikasa charges at the Titans, cutting them down one by one to create an escape route. However, her gas supply runs out, and she crashes to the ground. The same Titan that devoured Eren approaches her. Mikasa prepares to fight to the death. But suddenly, the monster begins to vomit and scream in pain. A hand bursts out from inside the Titan, and its body explodes. From the remains emerges a glowing red berserker Titan. It roars in fury and begins attacking the other Titans, striking their weak points with immense strength. The survivors watch in amazement, as they've never seen a Titan attack its own kind before. The berserker continues to destroy all enemies coming at him, and Mikasa starts to notice that his fighting style feels familiar. Sauda watches closely and realizes that the Titan must be Eren. After wiping out the other Titans, the berserker notices the soldiers on a rooftop and runs toward them. Everyone backs away in fear, except Mikasa, who shouts Eren's name. The Titan pauses, stares at her, and slowly begins to recognize the person in front of him. Eren regains consciousness and starts to transform back. As he falls to the ground, the Titan's body evaporates into smoke. Mikasa rushes to his side and cuts the back of the neck open with her swords. She pulls Eren out from within. To everyone's shock, Eren has regenerated his limbs. The captain watches from a distance, seemingly unsurprised by the transformation. Eren slowly begins to regain consciousness. The main character, Eren, is revealed to have the ability to transform into a Titan and saves everyone from danger. It turns out that, when Eren was a little boy, his father experimented with genetic engineering and injected him with a serum capable of turning a person into a Titan. Captain Zolda was also present and helped hide Eren when the government came to purge his father's experiments. Soldiers led by Commander Kubo took Eren's parents and killed them while the boy hid within the walls. The commander burned the laboratory as the captain took the boy away from danger. Eren wakes up from the shock only to find himself tied up, with soldiers pointing guns at him. The commander walks into the building and begins lecturing about his philosophy of communism. He explains how humanity united after discovering a common enemy, the Titans. Although resources became scarce, everyone is now happier because they are equal. However, Eren's ability to transform into a Titan threatens this peaceful existence. Eren desperately tries to explain that he's human, but the commander refuses to let him live. Just as Eren is about to be shot, Armin rushes out and defends his friend, claiming that it was Eren who saved everyone from the Titans. He assures the commander that Eren is a valuable asset to humanity and can defend the city. Captain Hang also disagrees with killing Eren, but only because she wants to experiment on him instead. Armin continues trying to convince Kubo, telling him there's a disabled missile near the outer city, and with Eren's help, they can successfully fix the wall. But his plea only makes things worse. Kubo accuses Armin of sabotaging the previous mission and destroying the explosives. The commander orders the soldiers to fire. As Eren continues to beg for a chance to prove himself, Mikasa finally steps in to fight for their lives. But the commander questions why she's defending a monster. With no other choice, Sauda yells for everyone to stop and proceeds to explain Eren's powers. Apparently, Eren is able to control himself while in Titan form, but only for a limited time before his consciousness fades. Before the man can finish, a shot rings out, hitting him. Zolda tries to speak with his dying breath, but fails and passes away. Suddenly, a massive Titan crashes through the ceiling, crushing Commander Kubo and several soldiers. The others shoot at the monster, but their attacks bounce off its armored skin. The giant easily kills the soldiers with a single sweep and grabs Eren in its hand. They try to attack its neck, but the Titan blocks it, showing signs of intelligence. The Titan turns toward the scouts. Mikasa prepares to defend her comrades, but the creature looks at her and suddenly stops attacking. It spares their lives, then begins climbing out of the building, taking Eren with it. After Armin buries the dead, Captain Hang takes command. She decides to continue with the plan to restore the wall. First, they must retrieve the bomb Armin mentioned, then head to the outer wall. Mikasa hesitates about returning to her home, but decides she must protect her comrades. At the same time, Eren wakes up in a white room and hears music from over 100 years ago. He turns around to find a jukebox playing a vinyl record and examines it with curiosity. The music stops, and he hears a man's voice. It's Captain Shikishima. The captain explains that he saved Eren from the Titan, but failed to kill the monster, which escaped. He then shows Eren footage from a century ago, revealing the origin of the Titans. Humans had tried to create super soldier weapons through genetic engineering, but they lost control of the virus, which began spreading through the population, randomly turning people into Titans and destroying civilization. No one could tell who would turn next, and humans began fighting one another in fear and mistrust, eventually leading to their downfall. A small group of people who never turned into Titans hid behind the walls. Over time, a governing system was formed, eventually turning into today's society. The White Room's Eren were built by the government to monitor citizens and make them forget about the past, making them easier to control. Shikishima claims the attack on the wall was planned by the government to instill fear as the people began questioning what lies beyond. But he sees hope in Eren, who retains his consciousness as a Titan. He believes that together, they can stop the government's oppression. The two go outside, where the captain shows Eren his followers and a large stockpile of stolen explosives. He also demonstrates weapons from before the Titan Wars. While ineffective against Titans, they're deadly against humans. Shikishima gives Eren the grappling gear and tells him he's now in control of his own destiny. Meanwhile, the scouts manage to extract the missile from the ground and head toward the wall before any Titans notice. Mikasa stares into the distance, reminiscing about happier times with Eren. As the group drives toward the city, Armin quickly stops the truck when he sees an armored vehicle in front of them. Soldiers exit the vehicle and aim their guns at the group. Eren steps out and reunites with his friends. He apologizes to Mikasa, who is clearly relieved to see him alive. Shikishima jumps down and examines the bomb retrieved by the group. Captain Hang is thrilled to see the old weapons and jumps into the tank to inspect machinery from before the Titan Wars. But then, Shikishima claims ownership of the missile at gunpoint. He reveals his plan to overthrow the government by destroying the inner walls, allowing Titans to flood the city and kill the officials, bringing down the regime. Eren is stunned. He thought they were going to use the explosives to fix the wall. He questions what will happen to the civilians inside the city. But Shikishima says their deaths are deserved for allowing such tyranny to exist. The captain tells Eren to abandon the past and join the cause. But Eren remembers all the death and suffering caused by the Titans. He screams and refuses to forget. He charges at Shikishima, but is thrown down immediately. Eren gets up and attacks again, but the captain dodges and counters with ease. He dares Eren to transform into a Titan. Eren keeps charging in rage, but lands no hits and is continuously knocked down. Mikasa begs the captain to stop beating her friend, but Shikishima laughs. He tries to demoralize Eren by forcing a kiss on Mikasa. She slaps him, but he kicks her to the ground. This infuriates Eren, who blindly charges again, only to become the world's most durable punching bag. Armin quickly tries to think of a plan. He looks at a nearby unstable building and gets an idea. Before Shikishima can finish Eren with his sword, Armin yells at him to stop and threatens to blow everyone up with the bomb. He tells Tsunade to grab Eren and get him to the truck, but the captain calls his bluff and orders his men to fire. Suddenly, a grappling hook shoots past his face and latches onto the shaky building. Tsunade jumps forward and begins pulling the structure down. He yells for Armin to leave and continues pulling with all his might. One of the captain's men shoots at Tsunade, but he keeps pulling and manages to topple the building right on top of the bomb. Armin takes this opportunity to escape. A massive explosion follows, nearly consuming their vehicle, but the group manages to get away just in time. They look back at the explosion and mourn their friend's death, until Shikishima suddenly appears, somehow having survived. He climbs onto the vehicle and declares that he'll be taking the missile. Then, to everyone's shock, the captain pulls out his sword and stabs himself right through the heart. Bones begin appearing behind his back as a transformation begins. As the group drives away quickly, Shikishima transforms into a Titan, with body parts rapidly forming onto the monster. Armin looks at the giant in shock and realizes that the captain was the monster responsible for taking away his friend and for killing the commander. Eren prepares to stab himself and transform into a Titan as well, but Jean stops him, unsure if it will even work. He tells Eren that, unlike Shikishima, he's not alone, and that by working together, they can defeat the monster. The armored Titan walks toward the group and demonstrates his power by effortlessly destroying two other Titans. The team charges at him to distract the beast. Sasha takes the opportunity to shoot an explosive arrow into the Titan's eye, temporarily blinding him. Jean flies around the monster and attacks his weak spot between the armored plates, while Mikasa manages to cut off the Titan's fingers. Eren flies to the blind spot and slices the Titan's hamstring, causing the monster to fall. Jean sees his chance and flies toward the back of the neck to deliver the final blow. But the Titan turns and prepares to punch him. Eren kicks Jean out of the way, saving his friend, but getting knocked into a building in the process. The Titan turns back and begins moving toward the missile, but just before he can grab it, he sees Eren transforming into the Berserker Titan after barely surviving. The two Titans scream and charge at each other, engaging in an intense battle. However, Eren finds himself at a disadvantage. Every punch only hurts him due to the opponent's heavy armor. The armored Titan dominates the fight, knocking Eren to the ground with a brutal kick to the head. Shikishima walks toward Eren to finish the job, but the Berserker Titan grabs a helicopter blade beside him and slashes his enemy with it. The blow nearly cuts the armored Titan in half. Eren gathers all his strength for a final strike, launching the Titan backward into a building. As Shikishima reverts back to human form, Eren screams in victory. He walks toward his friends and begins lifting the bomb out of the truck. The Berserker Titan carries the bomb on his back and starts climbing the wall, with the team following closely using their grappling hooks. They reach the junction, and Eren tries to insert the bomb into the structure, but collapses exhausted. His transformation begins to fade as he loses consciousness. Mikasa rushes to help. She cuts open the Titan's back and tries to wake Eren, reminding him of his promise to show her the ocean. Eren regains consciousness, recalls his memories, and finally jams the missile into the wall. At the same time, Captain Hang, who had miraculously survived the earlier explosion inside an armored vehicle, finds herself surrounded by destroyed equipment. She salvages rocket launchers nearby, unaware that a mysterious man is following her. Meanwhile, Mikasa gets Eren out of the Titan as Armin installs a timer on the explosive, setting it to detonate in 5 minutes. Just as the team prepares to leave, they are shocked to see Commander Cubble standing atop the wall, somehow alive. He offers them money and nobility in exchange for handing over Eren and leaving the wall intact. The team refuses in anger. Cubble responds by shooting, wounding Armin. He declares that nothing exists outside the walls except chaos, and that people need the wall to be happy. Before he can finish, Sasha shoots him with a barrage of arrows, knocking him off the wall. But to everyone's horror, Cubble begins transforming into the Colossal Titan, the very monster that destroyed the wall 2 years ago. The team charges at the giant to avenge everyone he killed, but they struggle to get close due to the extreme heat radiating from his body. The Titan tries to grab the missile to stop the explosion, as the timer continues ticking. Jean attacks the Titan in a desperate move, but he's killed by a single brutal strike. The monster then turns toward Eren, trying to grab him, but is hit by a massive explosion fired by Captain Hang from below. Despite his injuries, the Colossal Titan continues to reach for the bomb. Eren seizes the opportunity and lands on the Titan's back. He climbs toward the commander just as the timer ticks down to the final second. But the bomb doesn't explode. The Titan had managed to damage the detonator. Mikasa rushes to fix it, but has no idea what to do. Suddenly, Shikishima appears, somehow still alive. He mocks their efforts to fix the wall and throws Mikasa to the ground. Disappointed in humanity for always choosing safety over freedom, he declares that people will never change. Mikasa pleads with him, saying he can still set humanity free by destroying the real tyrant. Meanwhile, Eren manages to reach the commander and slice open the Titan's neck. But before he can finish the job, he is caught in the Titan's massive hand. Just as the monster is about to crush Eren, Shikishima charges forward, carrying the missile. The Titan drops Eren to deal with the new threat. Shikishima leaps onto the Titan and shoves the bomb into its mouth, causing a huge explosion that destroys them both. The blast triggers a chain reaction, breaking open the top of the wall and sending concrete raining down. As Eren tries to escape, the shockwave knocks him off, but Mikasa catches him midair and refuses to let go. Giant chunks of debris fall, blocking the wall's entrance completely. Eren and Mikasa climb to the top of the wall. They're overjoyed when they finally see the ocean in the distance, amazed by its beauty. But they are unaware of hidden cameras watching them from behind. A robotic voice speaks, hinting that there are bigger plans for the two of them in the future. So what do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.